Yo! So I've just got back from the gym, and why am I seeing that Arsenal are about to approach Newcastle for Bruno Guimarães? I've already come to terms with the possibility of Elliot Anderson going to Man City, but Bruno Guimarães going to Bruno G, much easier to say that way, going to Arsenal. I can't have that. When this is meant to be Manchester United's midfield window, I don't want to be seeing bordering world-class players. I do think Bruno Guimarães is world-class. Elliot Anderson can definitely get there. If not, we'll be on the verge if he can obviously kick on at Manchester City. But he's definitely a marquee midfield signing. And so far, Manchester United have just signed Ederson, and we're kind of pussyfooting around with the Matheus Fernandes deal. And it looks like Arsenal aren't trying to have no championship hangover. They're trying to go again. Obviously, they've been linked to Morgan Rogers. There's even been earmarks they could try and go for Vinny. Hopefully that's just noise. And now they're about to approach Newcastle for their captain, Bruno G. And a partnership of Declan Rice and Bruno G. That is something serious, and could see him being challenging on all four fronts again. When I've been desperate to bridge the gap, and the gap has become a little bit of a big one, but I thought the gap wasn't as big as could be made out by some. Especially when I've talked about Declan Rice and Saliba and Bukayo Saka being there, almost like trinity of their best players, all suffering physically. And I'm thinking, maybe next season there's a little bit of deterioration from them, then they won't be this formidable outfit that they can be touted to be, especially defensively, well drilled, well coached. And and now look, Bruno G. I'm hoping that the Geordie boys hold strong, man. Geordie bros, and I'll get onto you all the time, but I need you to hold out, because you need to make it so that they could that this doesn't happen. And I know you become sick of obviously Tonali, he's trying to leave your club. Anthony Gordon's has left your club. Lewis Hall will definitely eventually leave your club. And now you're club captain, and someone that you can't fathom losing is once again being approached by one of the big boys. He's managed to fend off Manchester City a few years ago, but how long can you do it for? You've got no Champions League football. He's a world-class midfielder, and he deserves more than a North East. And unfortunately, this is something to keep an eye on, because if this gets serious and Bruno G tries to push it, then where might Newcastle find themselves if they lose two starting midfielders in one window? They've already sold Gordon. You always have financial issues. I don't know what's going on with Saudi and Piff with Newcastle anyway, but I think this is a quality player. He's 28, turning 29. I don't think players fall off a cliff the same way that they once did. I think the modern game, better nutrition, better fitness, even though it does require a lot more from players, I don't think there's this immediate nosedive in terms of ability or just peak of their powers that happens approaching 30 anymore. Players do age a lot better. I think Bruno G is a type of player that doesn't exactly rely on a whole lot of athleticism. He is quite athletic. Obviously, he's quite strong. Stronger than he looks, a lot of core strength. He does get about the pitch quite well as well, but he is very much a technical player, and I think he's continued to evolve over the past couple of years. He's even become a bit of a goal-scoring presence as well, attacking the box, being a bit of a box crasher, and he's very well-rounded. He's even improved his vertical passing quite a lot as well, and I just believe he's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. And that is a type of talent that I don't want going anywhere near Arsenal, because I think if that does happen, and then they end up having a quartet of Declan Rice, Bruno G, Lewis Skelly and Zubimendi, with the likes of Marino floating in around it, they're looking very well set and strong, and a lot was made of their strength in depth in terms of their squad and how important that element is to compete for the Premier League and the Champions League and to go deep in the domestic competitions. And it looks like they're not resting on their laurels. So we'll have to see how this materialises, whether Newcastle will hold strong. I think, judging by the way that they've acted in previous windows, I don't see a scenario where they're going to let him go lightly. I don't think you'll be almost succumbing to the fact that Tonali's going to leave and then be willing to sell your club captain in midfield as well. So I think this is genuine interest and a player that will very much improve Arsenal and strengthen them. But unless Bruno properly pushes this, I don't see it happening. And how much money does Arsenal have? I think Arsenal are financially in a decent position, to be fair. And I think if Arteta wants him enough, they'll be willing to go at least near a fee that will be probably not willingly accept, but they'd have to think about. And I'm hearing a lot of Arsenal fans talking about blocking a pathway with Bruno Guimarães, with Lewis Skelly, who they want more opportunities to develop. Obviously, he overtook Subamendi in the pecking order towards the back end of the season, even started ahead of him in the Champions League final. But it's about rotation, it's about having contingency plans in place for injuries. And Bruno Guimarães to Arsenal would scare me. It would frighten me, actually. Because I watched him yesterday against Scotland, and I thought, with a star-studded-ish Brazilian side, even though they aren't what they once were, I thought he was the best player on the park. I don't think it was Vinny. I don't even think it was Cunha. I thought Bruno Guimarães stood out for me. He stands out for Newcastle. He stands out for a Brazil side. And he's 28, on the verge of turning 29. He's at the peak of his powers, and he's still developing and he's still improving. And if he jumps to a big club, God knows the level he could reach. And for an Arsenal side that is already strong, he'd only make them tougher to beat. And he would also give Arteta and Arsenal the actual ability to rotate Rice, which they couldn't do last season. They could rarely rotate him. He was so pivotal and vital to their structure and the way they play, almost being a one-man rest defence as well, on transitions defensively, set pieces. Obviously, the value he brings them. Bruno Guimarães can actually allow Declan Rice to actually rest a bit, because you know he's been struggling physically. He played a lot last season. He's carrying an injury and a knock, and it's the same with Saliba, and it's the same with Saka. Arteta has been known to run his best players into the ground, but it's just part and parcel of being an elite player, where your team needs you to play week in, week out, where there's no easy games, no easy fixtures, and every match carries a lot of jeopardy. So you're looking at it and you're like, damn, hey, it would make a lot of sense for Arsenal, I think, especially when Subamendi's been okay, but he has largely flattered to deceive. And Bruno Guimarães is twice the player for me. He's good defensively, he's strong, he's a strong dueler. He's got underrated technical ability, he's improved his vertical passing. He's become a danger in the box. He's actually underrated in the air as well. I've seen that a bit from him for Newcastle. It'll be the biggest loss ever for Newcastle. He was someone that I wanted Manchester United to sign myself before the window started, but I always thought it was a little bit of a pipe dream. But it could be a reality when you're Arsenal now, who you've obviously increased your pull. You've become league champions. You've gone to Champions League finals. You've become a very attractive club to sign for. And you're looking to go again. Players that are Bruno Guimarães' age and stature, they want to go and challenge for the big honours and the big trophies to build a certain legacy. And he's not going to do that at Newcastle. So I'm hoping and praying that nothing happens. He doesn't go to Arsenal. Because I don't think United and Ineos have the ambition to go for him either. They'll probably say he's too old and so forth. Obviously, Edison's about to turn 27. It's a little bit different now. I think world-class players, I did tweet this, I think world-class players, when it comes to aging, it's different, because if they drop from their world-class level, they'll still be great to elite, even if they fade a little bit. When you're going for average players or just decent players, when they fall off, they become liabilities then, so it's different. That's why I think if a player is world-class at the age of 28, 29, they're worth buying, they're worth investing, because you can still get 3-4 years out of them of world-class play to elite play. especially when you're a challenger like Arsenal are. Maybe he wouldn't make sense for United because United aren't exactly challenging yet, but I still think there's a jump for United to make that we can make to be right there. We did finish 3rd place. We have invested decently last season, but it's about kicking on now. It's not about standing still. That's why it's important we get the likes of a Fernandes. We make sure we get our main targets, because I think we're missing out on too many. Because when you've got the likes of the rivals, Eddie Anderson going to City and Arsenal wanting Rodgers and Bruno Guimarães, United can't afford to stand still, because we'll end up going backwards like we always seem to do after we qualify for Champions League football. So this is something I'm going to keep an eye on, man. But the Geordie guys, you need to stay strong, man. You need to stay strong. You need to rebuff this. You need to be as stubborn in the market as you always are. This is the right time to do it. This is the right time to be hard-headed. Do not let Bruno Guimarães go to Arsenal. I'm begging you. Anyway, remember to like, comment, subscribe. This is something to keep an eye on. And I'll see you next time.